welcome along to this Parish Online Insight session. This is our third one we've done. This one is a bit of a new one, actually. So we're going to be challenging ourselves a bit because this is not our normal Parish Online training sessions or introduction sessions. This is on something that's actually relatively new. So this is a service that we launched over the summer, and it's all about giving you access to more tools and more cloud service tools to help you as a council. So the agenda for this will be introducing all the different elements of this new service. So it's going to cover cloud storage, syncing documents to your computer. We've got template tools, importing and exporting of documents, sharing meeting documents with councillors and then subsequently the public, and then other tools that we've got built into this package. And then at the end, we've got a Q&A. So you'll be aware of Parish Online as a piece of mapping software. So we have going on 2,000 town and parish councils and community councils using our mapping software. And that's going from strength to strength. We've got lots of data in there. It's used for asset management, neighbourhood plans, etc., etc. We then fell into providing website and email services as well. And that's been immensely popular over the last 18 months, going on 2 years now. And that is helping parishes switching to gov.uk, giving them a nice, fresh, clean, functional, easy to maintain website, and giving them email mailboxes as part of that as well. So clerks and all councillors, staff can have access to gov.uk mailboxes. This is all about improving how parish councils operate. Now, there's an informal element to parish councils historically with how websites and IT have been provisioned. So we're here to help sort of guide through that and offer these solutions that are, pick them off the shelf and go off and use them, and they're supported by us. So the new service that we've added in over the summer is called Workplace, and what that is the easiest way to explain it is, a district council would have their kind of IT system, which has all their cloud storage and their emails and their communication systems. What we're doing is we've taken tools and adapted them so that they're suitable for parish councils, with a view that you're a tier of government and you should also have those kind of tools, and treating your parish council like a little small business. Not to go fully, being practical with it as well. So we're not looking at creating loads of different systems for you, but just creating a nice ecosystem for you, your clerks, your councillors to operate in, so that you've got data security, you've got ease of communication, you've got your compliance elements to it, and just making your life easier. There's also, and we touched on this in the last insight session, with many of our products, it's all about the resilience and continuity of the parish council as clerks and councillors go. That's incredibly important. I hate data loss, keeps me up at night, even when it's not my data. And that's why we're here, to help with these kind of services. So why would you use a cloud office workplace, in inverted commas, solution? Well, so one of them is making your life easier, both your councillors and clerks. You've got a common system that you're all working on. It's keeping that information safe, as I mentioned, and it's that continuity between clerks. And it's also therefore elevating the professionalism and the way the parish council is perceived to the outside world. Now, on that one, I'm not saying you're not professional. I'm saying that the operation could be improved. And you can also modernize without having huge costs and the expenditure that other organizations, businesses, and other local authorities use. So what we're doing here with Parish Online is we are creating cost-effective systems that are using the latest modern technology. So one component of this is called Work Drive. And the easiest way to explain this is instead of your council documents being stored on your own computer, on your own hard drive, or in your own personal thing, or in your physical filing systems, it's storing it in a cloud storage system that's for your parish council. So if you leave the council, then that information stays in that cloud system. And then the next clerk or the next councillor comes along and picks it up, and it's all there ready to go. There's a huge time saving there as well. So this is about keeping your documents safe using cloud synchronization and cloud storage. This happens, we use this as in our own company, and it's very important because computers break, they blow up, they self-combust. Normally they just go a bit corrupt or they get a bit old and laggy. And so having a cloud system means that your computer isn't the point of failure. So if your computer does go pop, all your documents and storage is still there available for you. You haven't lost it. So a really important resilience element here. Last minute, I appreciate that the text on this is a little bit small. So if you've got a magnifying glass, get it out. I didn't manage to change it in time. So Work Drive is there for your document management, storing your own documents privately and as a team in inverted commas. And we've got import and export things there. Keeping everything in sync so you can have stuff on your computer but also synchronized to the cloud. And you can share your files within your organization and externally as well. All of this has security built into it. So the data centers are secure and information is encrypted. And we're dealing with, we've created a government tier security system here. It's got government compliance. And then finally, it's about having time-saving tools. So you get a letter in the post and you want to be able to save that to a computer. We've got a document scanner app for your phone. You take a picture of it, it scans it to PDF and puts it into your cloud storage. So you don't have to then spend the 5 minutes waiting for your printer to warm up like I do with mine, and then it decides it's not going to do scanning today, which seems to be quite common. So having that is a really good time-saving tool. And we've also got, if you want to get a bit more complex, then we do have things for AI suggestions of content and copy as you go. So it does the normal spelling, grammar checks, but it also looks at how the document reads. This is particularly useful if you're like doing a job spec or something you're trying to get engagement with. And there's also document approvals as well. So let's say you're writing up a new job spec, and you can then send it to a number of councillors, and they can comment up on that same document without it being proliferated around lots of different emails and clogging up your email storage. If we get time, we'll run through that today. So as well as cloud storage, you then need to be able to create and edit those documents. So built into the cloud storage are essentially Office apps. So you've got an equivalent of Word, an equivalent of Excel, an equivalent of PowerPoint, and this allows you to get on with the editing in one place without having to have additional licenses. So we're very acutely aware of the cost savings with this. There are big systems out there that you can go and purchase, but they are potentially prohibitively expensive for a parish council. So everything we do with Parish Online has to be cost effective and suitable for parish council life. So we'll run through some of this. And yeah, that's the typical Office document editing. And then we're into communication. Now, so we've added this in as well because we know that it can get a bit messy when you've got emails flying here and there. You've got maybe a WhatsApp group where the new councillor wasn't included, or been left out, or you've got a little side one. It's having an organization level communication system. So this can be used for instant messaging chat, one-to-one. It can be used for group chat, and it can be used for video calling and video conferencing. It's also, and this is something we're working on, got webinar capability, which will be very useful if and when legislation changes to allow hybrid meetings and that kind of meeting setup. We're not going to go into that in detail today, but it's got that capability. So yes, you've got three elements here. You've got the meeting component, you've got the chat component, and then you've got streams, which is essentially being able to comment on emails and comment on documents before they are published or sent back. So you can live in this little workplace world and integrate with all of your team, essentially. So when we talk about clerks and counsellors, you are operating as a team, and that sort of brings it all together. So this service is available standalone and is available as an add-on for all of our Parish Online email customers. So I think I saw from the registration, we've got quite a few people who are using our website and email service already. So this will be a simple add-on, a change in package to essentially enable all of these things. So it doesn't mean that you'll end up with a brand new system if you wanted to upgrade to this. It essentially just appears in your mailbox admin. So I'll show you that in a minute. There's also other benefits. So it increases your email storage up to 30 gig instead of the normal mailbox size, and it gives you 100 gigabytes of cloud storage. Now, that is more than enough, and we have the ability to add extras if you are quite hoardy. There's more storage options if you need it. And just to be open about all the pricing, so this is, if you wanted this workplace package, this is £42 excluding VAT per mailbox per year. And if you wanted the extra amount of mailbox storage, then it's £54 instead. So if you times that number by the number of staff and counsellors you have, that's essentially the subscription for everyone moving over to Workplace. And you can go and compare that to other systems. That there's free systems out there, like you could use Google Drive, but it's not essentially a corporate system. There's obviously Microsoft 365, which carries quite a hefty cost, and that's why we haven't utilized Microsoft products here. We're using ones within our Zoho partnership that's allowed us to deploy email so well. You don't have to have everyone on this though. So if you want just the clerk to have it, if that's you, or if you're a counsellor, you just want the clerk to have it, then that is it. It's an extra £42 per year. We're trying to make this as cost effective as possible. So quite a compelling pricing strategy for it. Okay, so I'm now going to stop doing Death by PowerPoints, and I'm going to go into our example parish council, which is Mappington. It doesn't exist, but in my head it's somewhere in North Devon. Not that matters. Right, I'll just check if there's any questions before we do go into this. So where is the data held physically? Regulations, blah, blah. Yeah, so we sit under the UK GDPR legislation. So the data centres are in Ireland and the Netherlands currently, which is all compliant. But sometime next year, haven't got an exact date on it, there'll be a UK data centre, so we'll port everything over to the UK data centre. You won't notice that. It will just happen, but that's what we're looking at doing at the moment. And Jude said, if it's an equivalent to Word or Excel, will everyone be able to access it? I'll show you that as well. The short answer is yes, that you can export to Microsoft formats if you want someone external to go and view it. Okay, so I'm logged into my webmail here as my fake parish council, and I've upgraded it to the workplace package. And what that means is I now get a bar along the top here with all of these extra tools that I've got available to me. So the first one I'm going to show is workplace. We're going to cover workplace mostly today. And I just click on this and I've got my folders, which I've got nothing in at the moment, but I've got a team folder. So this is where it's a shared space. So everyone within Mappington Parish Council can access WorkDrive with this this folder structure. So this is where it becomes a collaborative system. So I've got my normal folders. This is just like you'd have any folder system on your own computer. So I can go into different folders, come back out of them. I've got a folder for my meetings here, and that's grouped up by different subfolders for all the documents within each of the meetings. So if you've ever used Google Drive or if you've used SharePoint, then this is quite familiar, really. It's just a representation of a file system, but on your browser. Now I'll touch on syncing with the computer. So I actually have this synced to my own computer. So I'm just going to bring up my file browser here, and you can see I've got this drive here, which is essentially the synced version of this cloud storage. So these documents under general, you can see I've got the same folders here as well. And if I was to go and put in a new meeting, so let's say I'm being very forward thinking here, I'm doing the March 25 council meeting. If I do that, that will then go and sync, and you can see it's already popped up on the cloud storage here. So that folder and anything I put into this space now is going to be automatically saved up onto my cloud storage. So I'm not going to go into that in detail today, but just to know you can have that offline version if you are on a plane, on a train, wherever you are, it can still be accessed. And I'm just going to use this for a common task. So that's going to be for creating a new agenda for this meeting. Now, in true Blue Peter style, I've actually created a template for this. So you might have seen templates in Microsoft Word, and you might not necessarily know how to use it. That's understandable because it is actually quite complicated and annoying. But I've created a Word document, which is essentially the agenda, but with some of the bits taken out of it. And you'll have your own format for this that you can go and put in. But you can go and publish all of this as a template. It's not the actual document, it's just a template. So if I now go back and I go into my March council meeting, I'm going to click new, and I want to add a new word processing document. And instead I could create a blank one if I wanted to, but I could also use a template. So let's click on that and find my organization templates. There it is. I'm going to use that template. That'll load it up into an editing mode now. You can see at the top here that it says it's a draft. This is quite a nice little feature, just as a little side note. When you start writing a document in cloud storage, essentially it could be live read by everyone else straight away. As you're typing it, other people will be able to see it, which is kind of not ideal. People could see you making the typos and as you go, and I don't like Dave. I mean, oh, sorry, no, delete that. I do like Dave. It's saved as a draft instead. So this is only visible to you at this point until you decide to say it's ready to be saved outside of a draft. I'm going to give this one a name. So this is the March 2025 agenda. And I'm going to put it's going to be held at the Village Hall on the date. So that's going to be the 3rd of March 2025. I haven't checked whether that's what day of the week that is. But we've got some automatic ones in here. So I can go and update this. We can update values if I needed to. We can basically put automatic dates in. So you can make this template really automated to save you time when you're creating this agenda, and it also makes everything consistent as well. I can go and put on all the bits I need to. I'm not going to bore you with that now. And this has all been live saved. So as I've been typing, it's been saving it straight away. So there's no real save button. There are the typical things that you would see up here for going to add new ones. There's a normal file menu. But I'm ready with that, so I'm going to go, this is ready. Okay, and so if I now go back to my work drive, I can see I've got that agenda there ready to go. If I had documents or like PDFs from district councillors that were going to be considered in the meeting, I could drag and drop those in. I could do that from my, let's put one in here.
There's a van gone up the ladders.
So we can go and create a new document here, whatever it is. There's a PowerPoint. I can go and drag this into this view, and that goes and uploads that document into that folder. So just a normal drag and drop. So everything to do with this meeting is going to be stored within this folder. Now, if I'm happy with that, then my next step is to share that with the councillors. Now, I could, like you might normally do at the moment, go and email that agenda out to everyone. Another way of doing it now is you can just say, "Dear councillors, it's on Work Drive. Go and have a look," because it's there. They'll be able to go and access this because it's available to the whole of the council. So you don't have to share any documents anymore. It's already shared. It's pre-shared. If you wanted it to go to external people as well, including members of the public, you can go and create a link for it. And you've got link settings here which define who has access to this. So we could say, well, this can be accessed to anyone. And so this is where you can start to change your behavior with how you publish stuff on your website as well. So rather than uploading the document, it's on your work drive, rather than uploading it to your website as well, you could just put in this link and put that on your website, which will then refer people to all of the documents on there. So it keeps your website nice and clean and all of your documents in one place. But if you wanted to, you could also publish it as a document as well. But at the moment, this is where we go into sort of importing, exporting. At the moment, this is a Word document, but in the kind of Zoho Work Drive world. If you go and send someone this link, it's not going to play nice with Office or anything like that. So what you can do is under File, you've got download options here. So if you were to then, if you wanted to carry on putting a PDF on your website, I'd recommend that you then go and create a PDF rather than a Microsoft Word or anything else. If you go and create a PDF, that's in a common format that any computer is going to be able to read. So you're not making people have a Microsoft Word license to be able to view that. So if I go generate save as PDF, goes off and does that. And then that downloads that to my computer. I could also get it to save in Work Drive as well if I wanted to. Okay, so that's really the fundamentals for this. Is you've got a storage system where you can go and create and edit documents as you like. If I wanted to, I could go and do this again. Someone needs it in a Word document. You can go and export it as Word. Let me go and bring that up. There it is. I've got my PDF version. Just bring that over into the screen. And I've got my Microsoft Word version. There it is. So with that question of is it going to be compatible with other systems? Yes, inherently it is, because if you share the link, then people can open up that link and view it natively as in the document that you created it in. But you can also export it in PDF, which is sort of very common document, or in a proprietary format like Word. So yes, you've got all those options. Also, if someone sends you a document, so let's say you've got an incoming Word document here from someone. Let's say we wanted to import that. If I drag that into this view and upload that and go and open that one, you can see that I can go and preview this document. It's not saying, oh, I can go and edit it yet. I can go and open it though with the Word editor. So let's go and do that. And it's converted it into an editable format now. So you can go and use it natively and go and edit it as you like. And then if you wanted to go and send it back as something else, you can obviously go and export it out as a Word document or a PDF or whatever you like. So yes, there is a slight change in behavior here for how you work, because it's not a case of having a local Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint license. You don't necessarily have to have that anymore. You can have everything working in a cloud version. So it is a change in a way of working, but the benefits far outweigh it, because you're working in a cloud environment where all the data is secure. It's synchronized off to all of your counselors, your own computer, and your website. It just makes things a lot easier and a lot nicer. Let me just close some of these tabs and go back here. I'll just show you some of the other capabilities as well. So we've got Sheets. As you can imagine, this is just like Microsoft Excel, and will behave in a very similar way, and all the formulas and things that you would normally get will work within this as well. We're not going to do an Excel tutorial now, don't worry about it. I'd love to spend a day talking about Excel, but I'm not I'm not going to. Wendy and Andy would kick me under the table. You've also got Show as well here. So that's for creating PowerPoint style presentations, and the same kind of thing comes along where you've got all the different templates and slide decks and styling and all that kind of fun stuff. I mean, PowerPointing, like having a presentation style thing, isn't particularly common in parish councils as far as I'm aware, but it's still there as a capability, and you can pull in other ones and adapt them as you need to. Okay, so some general features in here. So we've got these team folders, and I've just been working in the general one here, but you can have granular access to folders within here. So if you had, if you wanted a new team, you could have the planning working group and go and create that. You can decide which members are part of that folder. So that's really good for having, not just giving everyone everything, which can be potentially quite contentious. You can have specific areas for different groups and different people. So there you'd have a team folder, and you've got your general one for all of your stuff, and then you've got this new planning work group one, which is just visible to a number of people. But you've also got your got your private one as well. So when I say private, I mean it's just you as a team. You've just got that access. So if you don't want this to be shared within a team folder, you can have stuff stored in there as well. It's got some nice features like labeling and favoriting of documents. So if you've got ones that you're regularly coming back to, you can go and click on those. So if there's one under, you'll forgive me, Mafeking and Parish Council isn't particularly organised and we don't do a lot. So there's not a lot in our folders here. But let's go to one of these. So let's go into that one. And let me remind myself where the actual starring is. Yeah, so you can go and add that one to favorites if you wanted to. And then when I go into favorites, it's showing that one there now. Okay. I won't label that anymore, but hopefully you get an idea of that's what we're proposing here is a simple cloud storage system for you that you can actually use to benefit a lot of your different improve your workflows, essentially make you a bit more efficient. I think the templating thing has a lot of legs because a lot of the time as councils we're doing quite structured things. We're doing the same kind of reports, the same kind of things, but just as a different one for next month. So being able to repeat a lot of that and make it easy to do, I think there's a lot of value there. Okay, so another element I want to show you is actually the messaging side. So along the top here, we've got all of these different things. So work, drive, writer, sheet, and show are all part of those little group of cloud storage and editing. But under Cliq, if you've ever used Zoom or Teams, then this is equivalent to that. So we've got individual one-to-one chats on here, and you've got channels, which is kind of publishing to your whole team. Now, this is available as a web interface, so when we're working day-to-day on our computer, it can pop up here and you can just do instant messaging. But we've also got an app for it, so you've got the Cliq phone app. You log in, and it means you can get messages there as well. Now, this is essentially an equivalent to Zoom, to Teams, to even WhatsApp, where you've got a WhatsApp group. But the difference is this is your organization communication. You're not bleeding your work life into your personal life by giving people your WhatsApp, essentially, with your own funky little picture on there and all the other updates and stuff that you want to do. You're segregating that work and that life. But in very general terms, Andy, I think, is online at the moment. I can see he's got the little green marker on there. So he's there. It's like, hi, Andy. I can go and put him a little message in here. You see, it pops up. It's the little chat bubbles. It's just going to be a bit like WhatsApp, but it's for all the communication between you, councillors, and your whole team. And then I just wait here and see if he wants to reply to me. All I can see is typing. That's good. You get the picture. This is very much like WhatsApp. But within here, I can do voice messages. I can do a video message. I can do a little screen record if I want to show them something. And I've got some formatting bits in here as well. The emojis, all that kind of jazz. Good. Let's give that a thumbs up. Thanks, Andy. And I can also go into our organization channel here. And so, dear everyone, look forward to seeing you at the meeting tomorrow. Bring biscuits. So that will then be published out to everyone. So everyone with Cliq within your organization will be able to see that message. And the same principle applies to that permissions-based thing with the folders. So I can create a new channel that is for a particular team or group, or even externals as well. So if you wanted to bring district councillors and stuff into the fold, you can also do that. And you can see it's kind of split screened my view here. Okay, I'm not going to labour this too much, but that is an instant messaging system that is seems to be being used and quite popular just to segregate your work and personal life. Along the top, we've got Connect. We haven't really focused on this too much, but it's available as a tool. This is almost like Facebook posting for your organization. It's almost like an intranet, but I don't believe that this will get heavily used by parish councils, so we'll gloss over that. But we do also have meeting software. So if you wanted to have a kind of off-the-cuff meeting between you and a number of people or a member of the public, then you can create a meeting or schedule a meeting, and put in what you want to do, video conferencing, who's going to be in it, is it internal people or external, and you can set up that meeting, and that would be really good for sort of resident engagement. If you've got a resident who's got particular issues and you want to have a face-to-face with them, then you can do that. And then we've also got webinars. So this is most likely what we'll use for if hybrid meetings and things come in. These tools will be available, and we're going to create a special sort of plan for it, so that small parish councils will be able to do remote hybrid meetings cost effectively. But again, we won't go into that today because that's a whole other can of worms. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the work drive, and there's one final thing I want to show here that I talked about at the start, which was being able to scan a document in, and sometimes that's a bit of a pain. So I've got on my notepad here a very important document that I need scanned in, and this isn't going to be very visual, but you'll see the end result, so you'll just have to bear with me a sec. I can go into this app and basically take a picture of this document. And what it does is it then goes and detects where the edges of that document are. So it does a little bit of calculation, so it balances it all out. So then if that doesn't show up very well, sorry. I'm just going to save it, and I'm going to upload it to my work drive. I'm going to specify which folder I want that to go into. Click upload, and then that should appear under my uploads document folder. That's the one I specified, but it can go into any one you wanted. And then I can go and open that up, and that will show as a PDF. And yeah, unfortunately, that document was actually just my son scribbling on my notepad and wasting a page. But I've got that now linked on that, stored as a document. So I've been sent a letter or been given a document, or we did a bit of brainstorming, whatever it is, we can now scan that and save it to work drive without any hassle, without having to fire up the blooming printer, as we call it here. That seems to be used to quite good effect as well already. That's a really big time saver, and something that, again, it's really nice to have that sort of benefit there. Okay, what are we doing? So we've got a quarter of an hour left. What I think I'll do is I'll go back to not sharing, see if you're all still awake, and see if there's anything you want me to particularly share, or I'll go through some of the Q&A, and run through that. So let me just do that now. Let me stop sharing. Or just as an overview as well, do you think that's an interesting system, one that you might take up within your council as well? Obviously, this is only 6 months old in terms of what we're doing. We've got a good handful of parish councils who have already deployed this to really good effect. So we're really proud of that it started helping them already, and it's got really good feedback. But it's early days still. You know, we've got 2,000 mapping customers, and then we've got a handful of work drive customers. So there's definitely going to be an evolution here of how we present it, what we include in it, the guidance that we give for it as well. But early signs seem to be that it's a compelling system that people want to take on. We've also seen people want to come to us who are switching away from Office 365 as well, especially seeing those costs seem to be ramping up quite substantially now. And if you want to deploy it organization wide for a medium-sized parish council, we're talking about £300 or £400 instead of over £1,000. And I just, if I was operating a parish council, I just couldn't square that. It's such a huge cost. It's overkill for what you guys do. So this is why we've got this, and we feel it's a cost-effective solution. Okay, let's just run back in time to the old messages. So we've got Claire. Will Sync work with iPads? Oh yeah, I knew there'd be a question I don't know. Yes, I think it does, but I'll double check.
It works with iPhone.
Syncs with iPhone. Okay, great. If you currently have a storage system such as SharePoint, how easy it is to merge that data with your system? Okay, so if you, so Paul, if you are dumping SharePoint and taking on this service, it's literally a drag and drop. So if you've got all your files in SharePoint and you've got your new work drive folder, you would just drag it over and then it would do its sync. It would sync itself up, and once that's completed, you can bin SharePoint. Paul, go on.
Yeah, will it create the same structure, or do you have to create the structure first?
Yes, it will carry over folders and subfolders and all of that. Yeah, so it will do all of that. There's also an option as well for if it's all in Word and Excel format, there's an option to say automatically convert it to the native work drive format as well, if you wanted to do that as part of that. So that makes it even easier. So then when you go through into that folder and you load that document up, it's going to be in an editable format straight away without having to do that conversion like I showed you when I imported one. So yeah, very easy to do. We use forms in Google Drive. Do you have forms in the Sheets too? There is a forms tool. I'll look into that one. There is a forms element, but I don't think it's included in that element, but I'll check for you, Claire. Paul, again, if you have non-council members on work groups, can they have access to a Teams folder? Yes, so the only difference there is on the editing of that. So if they are an external, then they won't have editing capabilities because they wouldn't have the license for it, essentially. And are all the apps 100% compatible with Microsoft equivalents? From what I've seen so far, yes. I've not seen anything that like Excel or Word, the equivalents in our system can't do or has got confused about. But Excel is a massive beast, and I'm sure there are some things that won't work. But you'd have to be doing something pretty complex for it to not pick that up. Good news, I'm a massive Excel nerd. So if anything does actually come up, I'll probably be able to have a little poke around and look and make sure we've got an equivalent for it. And Martin, how are people notified of new messages and updates on Cliq? Well, most of the time this will come through a phone app. So on my phone here, I've got the Cliq app. And so whenever a message comes through, it just pings up and I get a message as if it was a WhatsApp or whatever. So yes, that's how you'd get new messages. Oh, Claire again. Can you access other people's private folders, e.g. if they leave? So yes, we'll be able to do a sort of dump out of that at sort of an admin level to bring those over. And also we'd probably then say to not promote the kind of private folder storage because that's not great really. If a councillor is storing information in there, it probably should be in one of the shared folders anyway. How we operate as a company, we very, very rarely use our own private storage elements to it. We're all using the shared folders. And Susan saying, can you transfer existing emails? So this is a question related to our email service that we went through the other week. But yes, if you are coming to us from another email system to our email system, then we've got a sucker wrapper and it'll suck up the folders, it'll suck up the tags, it'll suck up the emails in the inboxes and the sent folders as well. So yes, we can do that. And that's actually part of our sort of standard process for when we take on new website customers, because the email is part of that and we bring that in as well. Roger, do you have your documentation that we can share with other councillors where we can access it? So, do you mean for using all of this, or do you mean is that Roger? Where are you? Is that what you mean? Ah, Roger, there you are.
Yes,
Hi.
I meant to give them a briefing at our next meeting about this. I should explain that having run the council website for 10 years, somebody popped up and said he could do a better job that would conform to the new accessibility standards because a friend of his had done loads of commercial websites and he took it over and needs to say hasn't updated it. It's a complete flop. So I'd be very keen to go to the next meeting and say, look, we've got some solutions here to the problems we faced, and it's an integrated approach. So we're not just trying to get a new website provider, which I think we should, but it's all integrated. That would be very useful if I could have some sort of backup documentation to refer to.
Sure, absolutely. So we've got documentation on website, email, and cloud storage now. Yeah, but it's a common thing now. As a sort of national company, we're kind of accidentally competing with local website providers with this, and we completely see the value of having a local provider, someone you can just walk a few doors down to, and they're your website people. But we've also seen the downsides of that in terms of resilience. That person loses interest, is a hobbyist, is not paid, does not have the sort of, some of these things might be hitting a nerve, or emigrate to New Zealand. All these things have happened, and so the customers we're taking on see the value in us hosting the site and having the responsibility for it, and knowing that we're going to be here if there's any issue. So we're not going to disappear as a provider. Bundling everything in has also been really well received. So obviously our original product, the mapping software, was very popular, and we've got now parishes going, well, that's great. If we can take the website as well, that integrates to our mapping software. We can publish stuff on our website easily. That all makes sense. Carrying that on again, we've got the email system within our website, and it's all the same login and all that kind of stuff. It just makes it easier. Taking that further to the cloud storage, which I'm offering now, which is essentially a switch for the email system. You've already got the email system with us. Now we've got all the cloud storage and the extra tools that come with it. So it creates a really nice ecosystem that we're really proud of. And on the call, we've got myself, Wendy, Andy, and Tristram. So we're here as support and helping you with that transition as well. So yeah, it's been good fun. There's also, if you're considering website and email, there is still CDDO funding for having £100 off for switching to gov.uk. So we mandate gov.uk as part of our service. So you can't come to us and say, I want an org.uk. We won't do that. But because we mandate it, we underwrite the cost of that gov.uk, which means that we can pass on that £100 to you. So your first year subscription with us is £100 less, which is really the opposite of how it works normally. Normally in the first year of a new website, you've got the big sort of balloon cost because it's been the design and the migration and all the work involved in it, and then it's smaller afterwards. With us, actually, our first year is cheaper. So that funding is running out. I think it'll be gone by end of the year, maybe January, at the current rates. So if you are looking to place an order, don't bank on it. Essentially, if you get it, it's a Brucey bonus. If we can, as soon as you place the order, we can try and guarantee that funding. But if you've got to wait until, say, sort of January or February to make a decision, chances are that might go. But yeah, so just don't factor it in. It's a Brucey bonus. But yeah, Roger, if you drop us an email to support, then we can share some of the documentation to take to your meeting. Okay, Andrew, did I understand correctly that there has to be one linked Parish Online email address? If so, why? So this is a service built on the Zoho platform, which is our partner for providing email. And so yes, you have to be using our email service to be able to use this. Well, it's part of the package anyway. But you don't have to have our website for this. You can just take domain and email and work drive. You don't have to have any of the have our own website. Yeah, you can kind of mix and match to a point, but it is kind of all bundled into one thing. And Claire, with another question, can we disable the private folder functionality? No, but I thought that as I was answering the previous question, and I'm going to go and have a look after this call to see whether we can, because I think it might be sensible. Can you set up different accesses to folders in the filing structure? So yes, so remember when I had the sort of general one, that was with all of the different folders for general purpose stuff. But then if I created like the planning working group one, that can be just for different people and different users and different access. So you'd be able to set editing access and read-only access for those things. So yes, you could, if you wanted to, set read-only access for your general folder for everyone else apart from you. That's probably the way I'd approach. I'd go for the dictatorial approach and say, no, I'm the only one editing all of this. But yeah, you've got those granular permissions within it. If not, hopefully that's given you a nice flavour of what we're starting to offer as part of Parish Online and the direction we're taking as well. Like we're biting off these challenges that we see that parish councils are facing, and certainly with the increasing costs and the ramping up of parishes being sort of needing to and being seen to be a professional organisation working the same level as a district, we want to make sure that you've got tools to be able to do that. That was the original concept for Parish Online mapping, is that we said, hang on, these districts and these counties have got really good mapping systems. Parish councils have nothing. The same is now applying to the website, the email, the cloud storage, the office ecosystem. Is the districts and the county councils have all got it. The parish councils are informal. It's cobbled together, and that's just the way that your council has evolved. Not to say that's wrong. It's just how it's evolved. But we want to offer something that's a bit more formalized. It's got our support behind the scenes and is fundamentally cost effective as well. That's the key element to it. It's got to be usable and it's got to be cost effective for you. Okay, right, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to go and have some lunch. There will be more insight sessions in the future, so we'll notify you of those through our newsletter. So look out for those. I'm not sure whether we'll do a December one yet, but we'll have a think. But thank you very much for joining, and cheerio.